Hello and welcome to the 212th Angry Cuddles podcast. My name is Steven. With me, as always, is a loaded gun complex. Pocket and pull it.
I'm not going to be cocking and pulling anything of yours.
I didn't consent to that.
Joining, I'll just do it slow. We'll be okay. Joining me today
No, I'm not joining any of this
is
shit.
Chuck, Byronic Commando.
No.
Byronic Commando.
I'm out.
Go follow him on Twitch. It's Byronic Commando.
I'm out.
And Will Roth.
Hello, everybody.
And our latest addition, Shark. Who's the shark? She's a shark. Let's see. Okay, first things first. A couple of neat gaming headlines that I came across this last week.
I want to hear about them.
These.
Before we get into that, real
Yeah.
quick, again, with the previously, whenever we had talked about the DC Universe, we did not actually have a chance to mention that. Oh God, I forgot.
Hamill.
Yes, Mark Hamill actually joined to be a part of the Killing Joke. So whenever that's animated, you can expect his voice on there.
Yeah, Mark Hamill, and last I heard, Kevin Conroy was down, and it's an all-star cast of super awesome. Actually, I bought that graphic novel. I've never read it. I bought it about a year and a half ago, and it's been sitting on my shelf waiting for me to get to it.
If you are easily offended, you are probably going to be very upset.
If I were easily offended, I wouldn't be doing this webcomic.
Well, there you go.
He easily offends.
Oh,
Yeah,
we went back to our roots and went the infanticide route last Thursday. If you missed it, go check out our webcomic.
It's probably not nearly as bad as Hank the Dancing Abortion. So go check that out on Flim Comics.
Yeah, it's sweet. Okay, so the cool things that happened this week. First of all, backwards compatibility, Xbox One, guys,
Yes.
comes to all of you in November.
God, I'm so excited about that.
And
Yeah.
Wait, we have to wait till Turkey Day?
roughly,
Yeah.
it's November.
But you want to know why I'm so excited about that?
So
So I can relive my Skyrim glory days.
I-
Go
My
back to
Xbox One.
Skyrim.
I
Absolutely.
say
Not only
bollocks
that,
on the having to wait because it should come with the platform as a standoff, but the fact that they actually made the point to implement it, kudos on
So
that.
Absolutely.
here's the thing: is when they launched both the Xbox One and the PS4, they were asked about backwards compatibility. They said we can't do it.
Yeah.
They had it on board on the 360, and they had it initially on board on the PS3, and then sort of ditched it. Then they figured it out.
Yeah.
Very quietly, because nobody saw it coming in E3, was when
Yeah.
they made the announcement.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they asked Sony, they were like, so Xbox is doing backwards compatibility, they said they couldn't do it, what about you guys? And they said, we don't know how they did it, so no.
Well, see, Microsoft has slowly crept up and become good guy Microsoft. And that's and I'm
As
so
opposed to scumbag Microsoft?
As opposed to scumbag Microsoft, and I'm so excited about that. And it's because there's the big battle of PS4 and Xbox One, and to me there doesn't have to be a battle. They're both fantastic systems. They do amazing things, but now because I don't have a PS4, I
Yeah.
get to go good guy Microsoft. Thank
Stand
you.
behind our system a
Yes,
little bit.
absolutely.
The thing, though, that got me about backwards compatibility, they said that I've been enjoying it a little bit because I'm in the preview program, but everybody else on Xbox One gets it in November. But starting in November with the backwards compatibility, every Games with Gold will be backwards compatible. So every Games with Gold from then on that gets released for 360 will immediately be available on Xbox One as well. So if you have an Xbox One, you get all 4 or whatever of those free games.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So if I make a point to give them money now,
Yeah.
then it'll be able to work later.
Right. Yes. Correct.
Theoretical.
Theoretically.
Theoretically.
Unless it all crashes.
The other thing,
Yay!
do you remember Destiny?
Yes.
Oh god, yeah.
Remember the game, video game Destiny?
I remember Destiny's Child.
Destiny's Child.
I don't think you're ready for Destiny. I don't think you're ready for
You know what?
Destiny.
They should put in the Taken King, there should be some Destiny's Child playing in the background. Paul McCartney did some music for the main game. And that actually has to do with what we're talking about today. It's composing video games.
I'm done with
But-
Destiny because they got rid of Dinklage.
That's the thing.
Done with it.
Dinklage did the voice of the ghost, the little companion.
Yeah.
Okay, I was confused for a second because I was like, that doesn't sound appropriate.
They got rid of all the Dinklage in the game. And I'm done with it.
Okay,
Well,
we're on
I
the
love
subject.
Dinklage.
Can we get some penis physics, please?
Please.
In video games, a little.
We'll call it
Whoa.
Peter Dinklage, if you're watching this ever, I'm sorry that we just made your family name into like a euphemism for
It
dick
was my fault.
physics.
I'm sorry, but not
Dick
sorry.
physics.
she pulled a Sharknado.
Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones, amongst other things.
Yeah.
The voice of your robot, your floating robotic cube companion, and for the Taken King, for the other DLCs, they had someone else as your quote-unquote handler, so you're talking with different entities instead of your ghost, but they wanted more lines for him. Instead of getting Dinklage back, they're now getting Nolan North to do the ghost for the Taken King, as well as re-recording every line for the main game. They're completely erasing Dinklage from the game and putting Nolan North in.
Damn, that's
silly.
cold.
How do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about that just as a work, like as an artwork?
Oh.
Does it feel like they're Lucasing it?
Yes.
Yeah, this is worse than a Han shot first.
You know who else
no,
tried
this-
to rewrite
this-
history?
This is worse than digitally inserting Hayden Christensen at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, for sure.
Have him, okay, Hayden,
As
just
the
stare
young
blankly into the
version,
camera.
not an older version.
Right. So I feel a little Lucasy about it, and I actually there's a series that I've been watching on YouTube where they show you the original scene from Star Wars and then the updated and every version of every updated scene. So you can see all the things like Han shot first actually follows this weird arc where Han shot first and then Greedo shoots first and it's this weird jerky CGI like he quote unquote dodged it and then fired back. And then they even tweaked those frames with every iteration, like through the Blu-ray release and stuff, to where they actually have it now. The most recent update is almost the exact same thing as the original. It's like, it happens almost simultaneously, but it's the same number of film frames as it originally was.
Oh, nice.
But it's weird. Anyway, the point is, I felt that way sort of when they redid the ending to Mass Effect 3. And it bothered me a little bit then, because I don't really enjoy art by democracy.
Yeah.
If you put something out there and people bitch about it, like, okay, great, you get
That's
to bitch
their
about
right
it.
to bitch.
You have a right to bitch about it, but that's what the piece is.
Mm-hmm.
And so going back and redoing it, I don't know, maybe Nolan North is amazing, and maybe he makes it so much
Maybe
better.
Nolan North is amazing.
No, Nolan North is
Maybe
amazing.
Captain Martin Walker is amazing. Maybe Deadpool is amazing. Maybe Nathan fucking Drake is amazing.
Nathan Fillion.
He's made $fillions of dollars.
He has made $fillions
He's
of dollars.
made $fillions of dollars with his voice, and he is good. I'm just saying, like, it's not like they just replaced him with a rando,
Yeah.
which would be ultra upsetting. They replaced him with one of, if not the best,
Yeah, they
voice
replaced him
actors.
with talent.
Yes, exactly.
Which
Oh.
makes it difficult for you to actually be upset because you're like, this person is actually going to commit to the work.
Right.
But this was something that I originally fell in love with when
Right.
it originally came out.
Exactly.
I think the moral of the story is here we must learn to embrace change.
In the digital space, I guess we do.
Yes.
Well,
Especially
In an
in this
ever-changing
film.
world.
if we
way
can
later.
change Dumbledore's in the middle of the Harry Potter series,
And I didn't even
we can do
notice.
that.
They changed the Oracle in the Matrix trilogy too.
Yes,
Yes.
because she
For the exact same reason that they
cast-
changed Dumbledore.
They made a note of it though, like they made a little wink of like I've shed my previous shell or something like
Yeah,
that.
they did give a I changed my form so you wouldn't find me.
Yeah.
Yes, because changing file names makes it so much harder to find something else.
Well,
Well, apparently it didn't work anyway.
to be fair,
Their
like,
Boolean logic is not strong.
I just for the record, I enjoyed the second Dumbledore so much better than the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I
With
thought
the
that,
exception
Yeah.
of the "Did you?" and the goblet roar.
like I just thought he had a better energy, and that was what I. Even though Albus was like an old man in the books, I sort of got this boyish and
Right.
exuberance.
Well, to
and
me-
the original Dumbledore in the first film, or maybe the first and second film, was like he was about to die, and
Right.
then he did.
Exactly. Too soon?
Right?
Too soon.
Oh, it was a little hard.
Oh,
No, but
it's
I
too soon.
agree with you. You expect a bit of whimsy out of a
Yeah,
master wizard.
Exactly.
Well, to be fair, in the wizarding world, they live in the upwards of 128 plus years, and that's average.
Yeah.
Can we pull up the
I know
epic
that.
rap battle between Dumbledore and Gandalf?
When I am for sure that I can
I love epic
put
rap
a
battles of
YouTube
history.
video up here and it won't choppy up the stream, then yes.
Yes.
That will be a test that I have to run this
Because
week.
that's one of my
Since started
favorites.
this.
Also, we wanted to say thank you, Rule Fun Time, for sharing a bit additional information
Oh, right.
with us. So, sorry it took us a
Basis
moment.
State.
We got distracted.
No, yeah, we've been chatting. Rule Fun Time says basically he or she has worked on most things made by Basis Escape and Hitoshi Sakamoto post 2006. That's
So
awesome.
We have a legit
I
video
need to
game
do more
composer
research
in
to know
our
what you do
chat
so I
room.
can appreciate it more.
Yeah. And
Am I excited?
also, if you guys are, as I'm reminding you guys in the chat, anybody watching near the end, close to 10 p.m. Central Time, so in about 45 minutes, we'll be giving away a really awesome closed beta access code. I'm gonna just do it real quick because
They already
Oh, they
saw
need to
it.
Yeah,
work on your
yeah, get it.
camera awareness.
They already
It's
saw it.
I
reversed.
think
I know. Anyway,
They just froze frames.
So they
Enhance,
can-
enhance.
check it right there.
Yeah.
crap, I might have to do mirror writing
Right.
with some of the random things that I want to share
But yeah.
with the random.
The reason that I have that is because I attended RTX this weekend, thus the Rooster Teeth shirt that I'm wearing. RTX, the Rooster Teeth Expo, Red vs. Blue, Ruby, those things, Montium, RIP, Sir.
Did you have a
We
good
love
time?
you. It was fantastic. I took my sister, it was her first con. We went to a couple different panels.
Did you see some boobs?
I saw... no, butts are in this year.
Butts are in.
Butts
Yeah,
are
butts
in,
are the
yeah.
new thing.
Yeah. And so it was buddy.
It was very buddy.
Yeah, it was spread across. They had the convention center and two hotels that they did, and it was pretty well run. And I hope to go again next year. But the point is that I have a couple of shots that I'm going to share with you guys from my time at RTX. Just a couple, real quick. The
Vacation
Inception, and here we go.
Castle Crashers on fucking arcade cabinet.
Castle Crashers remastered on
2-player.
stand-up arcade.
4-player.
Up to 4.
Oh, Christ.
This is it. And
I want it.
it's one of those really good ideas. Like
I
as I was on the
want
show
it.
floor, I was like,
You need to buy
that's
him a
a
new
really
couch
good
now,
idea.
don't you?
Hey, Mega 64 was there.
oh yeah, there was a shitload of people there, and they had their Artist Alley for the
Nice.
first time this year. So I'm gonna try and get us into Artist Alley next year at RTX.
That's fantastic.
On top of that, this was the winner for greatest cosplay.
That's so good. He's bouncing on his balls. Yeah.
This is
On his
Randy Marsh
cancer-filled
from
balls.
South Park.
Yeah.
The episode where he wants to get medicinal marijuana, so he gives himself testicular cancer, and they grow to the size of a beanbag.
And they bounce on it.
He bounces on it.
They all do. All the men. in town.
Yeah. It was, so that was my,
Oh,
hooray, you win.
That's awesome.
There. But,
Don't
okay.
ever show me that again.
So let's get into the meat of this. Let me start by asking you guys,
Yeah. Ask away.
what's your favorite soundtrack?
That's
fucking-
That's not
Go fuck
fair.
yourself.
Yeah.
That is
Soundtrack.
not
That's,
fair.
That's
fair.
not fair.
Give me
That
a
really
couple.
isn't.
Give me ones that meant something to you.
Kingdom Hearts and most of the Final Fantasies. But some
Favorite
of my
Final Fantasy?
favorite Final Fantasy music to listen to is Final Fantasy VIII and some of the stuff that the Black Mages have done with Final Fantasy VIII.
I have the Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack. All 4 discs.
The composer for those games, as you had written down,
Yes.
is Nobuo Uematsu.
Yes.
Ooh.
Very
Yes.
I don't know that I did that.
Oh, okay.
Nobu-
Very good.
Nobuo Uematsu.
Orematsu, yes.
Okay.
And he actually started playing piano. He had no actual formal training. He has not really ever gotten formal training. He's learned how to do it simply by ear since he was about 12 years old.
Just like Mozart.
And this dude wrote One Winged Angel.
Well, that's one thing out of a total of
Oh fuck!
his
no.
prolific are the music of visual arts and games. VGMDV.net credits him with 907 composer. That includes composer and co-composer credits. as well as 55 Arranger credits.
So
That's
that
amazing.
that would put him through Final Fantasy X.
He
I
went
think.
all the way through Final Fantasy 1 through 10. That
Yeah.
was him staying with Square Enix up through about 2004, and then he actually decided once they moved offices in Japan to go freelance, and he was doing some of his own thing. But he has continued to come back and help Square compose additional music as well as work with additional platforms.
Well, you know,
Because
Final Fantasy X is #1 on Forbes' website for video game soundtracks.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The initial piano for it, tremendous.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To
The
Xenocan.
openings.
That's cute, but some of the more major Final Fantasy music that I remember is going to be the work from Final Fantasy VII
Yeah.
and from Final Fantasy VIII, and then whenever he moved into the Black Mages, and then began doing the American tour with the Dear Friends tour, where he actually came
Dear
into the United
Friends.
States. A friend of mine, I'm going to name drop with just a first name, Robert, is one of the persons that I have to thank for...
Robert Peck. No.
Not quite.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
But was one of the ones that introduced me to a lot of his music, and it was only recently, because the Black Mages disbanded back in 2010, that
Wow.
I found out last night that in 2011 he actually picked up another video game where he actually does some of his own original music as well as Final Fantasy music group that's called the Earthbound Papas.
Oh, I have heard about the Earthbound Papas.
And it's so good, and I need to go throw
I haven't listened to anything Earthbound Papas has done yet, though. I'm sorry.
Nobuo Uematsu did not do the songs from Final Fantasy X-2, right? And the reason I asked...
I would have to double check with the credits. I cannot voice on that because that's not a specific game that I know of. And that's not a game that a lot of people that I know of actually enjoy, because that's where they're like, dress me up, Barbie Yuna!
I blame...
I mean, I love feminism, but it's more objectifying than anything else.
Yeah.
I think that there's a debate to be had there for sure. When it came out, I was like, oh, this is not only where you can choose to be a female, you have to. And not only do you have to, your entire party is made up of female combatants, players.
Yep.
And,
Sexy females.
And yes, yeah.
We have the bondage,
there-
the underage, and then we have the priestess.
Yeah, there is a bevy of tropes and problems associated with it. But people kept bringing back the game, and literally at GameStop, the reason that people would bring it back is because the game was too girly.
Really?
That was what they told me. And I took it home, played it, and I fucking loved it. I loved the dress-up aspect of it is job switching on the fly. So you get in, you're going to a thing, this guy's magic, this enemy, this flan is magic, so you switch to gunner.
They've been doing that
That's
since...
fair, because I enjoy doing a lot of job switching as far as any of the casual games that I tend to play.
Yeah.
Which, with Pokemon and stuff like that, I will switch out my party a lot after I go get obliterated and realize, okay, this is what the person uses, okay, go back, change to something that is better against that, and then go back.
Yeah. And now you don't have to do that. You can be like, that didn't work. Switch. Mid-bat.
I just hope you have the right ones.
Magical girl transformation, I changed my outfit with the ribbons.
The other problem that people have with it is that it shit all over one of their favorite characters, Yuna in Final Fantasy X, who was this powerful summoner who becomes Christina Aguilera.
Yeah. Yep.
And so her job now is a pop singer.
Yeah.
And
What can I do for you?
and that's the thing,
Except
is
she's
real
not-
emotion gets stuck in my head.
Of
She's
course it
actually more of
does.
a Disney-style pop star because she's the untouchable because of her priestess nature.
This is more like a My Little Pony.
So you're
than
saying
Christina
that in
Aguilera.
4 years she'll become just a total just
Wrecking
MTV
ball?
wrecking
Oh,
ball.
God! I was just about to go there,
Like Yuna
too.
Wrecking Ball.
And
Oh, Yuna twerking. Yay.
You know what's funny? On that,
Do not do that. I do not want to see that
yes,
shit.
I want to see this.
on our
No.
on our Jurassic Park.
Rule 64, man.
34.
Is that 30?
34. It's 34.
What is 64?
Rule 64 is
Pork
that
chop
all of Rare's
sandwiches.
classic and 64. There are more now there are more Nintendo 64 games on the Xbox than there are on the Wii and Wii U.
Yeah, there is.
With Rare
Rare
Replay,
Replay.
coming out,
Yeah, Rare
there are
Replay.
more N64 games to play now on Xbox.
I'm
It's
excited
just
to
a quick side.
replay Banjo.
That's an interesting thing.
Yeah, the Banjo.
Yeah.
So big soundtracks. Umas was great. I really did love the Final Fantasy X soundtrack, and the two songs that Yuna sings in 10-2, I downloaded both versions of them, like the in-game version and the original singer version.
Yeah.
I would say that some of my favorite work with him is going to be the Final Fantasy VIII theme, the Libere Fatile,
Mm.
and as
great.
well as what he did with the Black Mages of Maybe I'm a Lion,
Oh
which
my-
was inspired by Final Fantasy
Which,
VIII.
oh my
Now,
god,
let me
Maybe
ask
on
you-
Line was amazing.
Let me ask you, aside from that they're cool tracks and whatnot, what do you think that did for the gameplay? What do you think that did for immersion? What do you think that
As far
how did
as
that
someone
affect
who
you while playing the game?
doesn't necessarily play a lot of the games, I have a problem with sitting down and being able to actually play a game full out.
Extended.
It was,
But the music is something that does a lot for me, and Final Fantasy VIII and some of the other Final Fantasy music is something that literally I hear it and I'm like, ooh. It's
Yeah.
like Mufasa.
What about you, Chuck?
well, one of the problems I have with Final Fantasy VIII, and I'm sorry, but
I
have
agree. There's a lot of plot holes.
There are a lot. Of
There's
plot.
a lot of
There's
plot
more
holes.
Than just plot holes to me. But
I don't care about the story. I just
Like-
go, it's pretty music.
like, okay, maybe on the Lion plays. Spoilers. It plays during the battle with Griefer. Or Griever.
Griever is probably more
Squall's
accurate.
sword has a chain thing hanging off the bottom of the handle, and then the big bad turns it into an actual creature, and you have to fight it. And it plays.
Griever is an actual summon, and I actually have that on a solid silver chain.
That's
At
cool.
home somewhere.
Yeah, you fit in here.
And yeah, you totally fit in there. Sometimes the music got too bombastic and grandiose for me. Like the opening with you're talking about Liberi
Yes.
Fatale.
Well, that is something that I accept as a singular work, not necessarily something that I launch into the game with, because again, some games I honestly have not had the time and ability to commit to playing them.
Mm-hmm.
But as a singular individual thing, I've enjoyed the music. If you want something...
What's up, game guy?
Hello,
Game
guy.
guy.
Game goes here.
If you want something that I really enjoy as far as, in addition to gameplay, I have always loved Final Fantasy VII's music, especially the victory music, because it's always something that if you're trying to talk about Final Fantasy games, the victory song
The victory music and the crystal theme. Those are
is
the ones
what
that you hear
everybody
every time.
knows.
A shout out to Dragonfly 1972, who says Nobuo Uematsu, along with Masashi Hamaisu and Junya Nakano.
Nakano. Yeah.
Yes, Nobuo
contributed to
Uematsu.
Final Fantasy
We'll
X.
we'll work
Nobuo
on
Uematsu
your.
did a lot of
I'm getting there.
singular
You are getting there. You did very
composing
good.
on
Let me
that,
shake your hand
and
on
he's
that.
done a lot of co-composing on several other Final Fantasies since then.
Yeah.
So
Can I get y'all's opinion on something?
I want to answer your first
Oh,
question
yeah,
first,
please do,
though, before
please
we
do.
get there, is to me, and I think that they're not my favorite, but I think some of the most effective soundtracking is Jeremy Soule in
Yeah.
Skyrim. And, you know,
Just-
and
I have a
Oblivion
whole
stuff.
thing to talk about on
But
that.
but
I'll
Skyrim
bet you do.
specifically is it wasn't like other soundtracks. It was like, oh, this is fucking awesome! Like, and
Right.
I'm so into like Marty O'Donnell and his Halo work,
Okay.
specifically Halo 2, just some really
Yeah.
fantastic fucking shit.
Oh, man.
ODST had this like noir soundtrack
Yes, it did.
that was
It
really
did.
beautiful
Yeah.
saxophony shit. But Jeremy Soule's Skyrim soundtrack, I didn't notice it was there, so it was more cinematic in that you don't know that it's there, but it accentuates the things that go on.
Mhm.
So there's a piece that is piano only, and I'm a sucker for piano anyway.
Yeah.
But it's this lonely sort of piano walk
I know
that he
exactly
does.
what you're talking about too.
And I was out in the mountains. There was no one around. I was feeling really lonely.
Yeah.
And it comes on, and just for a second, like I thought I was gonna cry
Right.
because there was like I didn't know. It was one of those like I didn't know which way to go kind of things. And there's always a waypoint in Skyrim, but you know, I was like, oh fuck, I'm depressed as shit.
Yeah.
And I realized the soundtrack was working.
Right.
One of the I brought a visual aid for tonight because we knew we were going to be discussing music and video games. One of the things I brought, I have the entirety of the Skyrim soundtrack signed by Jeremy Soule.
Hold on, that's that one?
Yeah.
It's signed by Jeremy Soule, the one that you just brought over?
Do
Yeah.
you need his liver? Because I'm willing to
So you're
try
telling
and
me
get
Jeremy
his
Soule's
kidneys, and I
autograph
might
is in my office right now?
Yes.
Shark is bargaining for Chuck's parts.
Oh, God. That's awesome.
I
And-
can make a point to stab in a particular area so it doesn't
Hurt anything that you might need.
vital that
Hey.
you might require.
No, that's okay. I have my own things that.
Oh, she's already got your balls in a jar, is what she's saying.
No, that's called double
She's
A
got my
batteries.
balls in a jar and a dick in a box. That's what that
That's
is.
called
Game Guy
double A
says,
batteries.
Game Guy
And I
says,
think we need to stop on that part before we get in the way of Twitch's agreement.
Yeah, we do have terms of service that we have to adhere to here. Game Guy 1092 says Risk of Rain is a great soundtrack. You mentioned Risk of Rain, Game Guy, last time. Has a great soundtrack. So just putting it out there. So you had a thing about Skyrim that you wanted to do.
I
Or
did.
was it so?
No, I was gonna. Well, while we were on the Final Fantasy
Yeah.
kick, I was gonna say Crystal Chronicles.
I know of the game.
I never played it.
Anybody? It was
I-
the cutest, funnest thing
I
ever.
haven't played Crystal Chronicles. I played a DS, one of the Final Fantasy DSs, the Heroes of Light. I played the MMO
Heroes of Light
Final
was the
Fantasy
remake
11.
of 1, wasn't it?
Not
I thought
quite.
it was 4.
No,
I don't know.
Okay.
but
And those are the two Final Fantasy influences that I've had as a major part.
no.
But usually with most games, I'm kind of button mashing, so I don't always hear the
And with an
news.
RPG, all you have to do is keep mashing
and
A.
a quick aside before I toss back to Will about Skyrim and Jeremy Soule was is that we still are going for 50 followers. So
Send it
if
to
you
me.
haven't, please follow us by clicking the little heart. If you're watching us on Twitch and if you're listening to our podcast, this doesn't affect you. But follow us. I'm hoping that the Rainbow Six Siege beta will be your reward for 50.
If you quit flashing that
50.
thing, man.
It's so low res.
They're
I
gonna
can't
enhance,
see it
dude.
from
Enhance,
there.
enhance.
I'm like, oh god, what is my Steam account? I actually do have a Steam
Is this
account.
Chuck? What, you posted your
Yep, that is my Steam account. I just put up there.
Ninja Moogle 218.
Friend me. I've been playing Hotline Miami.
He's
Which
super-
has a pretty
super-
eclectic soundtrack in itself.
You will, if you ever catch my stream, you will never hear the end of how much I love.
But I
Hotline
really want
Miami
to get to
soundtrack.
Will's thing so that we can keep trucking on this.
By the way, Hotline Miami sounds like it should be like CSI Miami. Every time you say
I
that,
love dead bodies.
I just picture him going. Well,
As long as they're
she
not
doesn't
my
have a
house."
face anymore, and then putting on his son. Yeah, and then that's starting. Yeah, yeah. But so Jeremy Soule, as you mentioned, Skyrim, how absolutely wonderful that his score did for that game. I mean, it was just incredible. There was so many moments where I was walking around, like you said, you had these moments in a game that big and that expansive that you are on a mountainside. You haven't done anything in a while. You've been wandering the land. You've been exploring. And at this certain point in the game, I had just downloaded a Hearthfire, that DLC.
Build a house
build
and
your
adopt some
house,
kids.
adopt some kids, get a wife. And then I come home from doing a bunch of quests, and my wife had been kidnapped.
What?
Yeah, by bandits. And
Okay,
they had
now
her-
I have to play Hearthfire.
Oh, it's fantastic. And they had her in a
I thought it
tower.
was a piece of shit.
For what it was a piece of shit. But there was these little moments that you could get out of it that were like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I remember my wife had gone missing. The place was in like shambles, and there was my like bodyguard maid or whatever that you can hire or whatever.
Yeah,
was
your tenant
dead
or whatever.
in the front lawn.
What?
When I got there, and I was like, what the hell? And there was dead bandits all around too. So like there was
There
a
was a
battle that
struggle.
had taken,
Yeah.
total struggle. So I was like, what is happening here? And then I found a ransom note. and then it cued this like music that was just mind blowing.
You were like, right
yeah,
in
I was
there.
like, oh my god! I went to my trunk of supplies, my chest that I had in there, and I just started like putting on my swords. I was
Get
like,
the
here we
Rambo
go. Yeah,
montage.
absolutely, yeah.
Shing!
I got on my horse.
I'm about to Gran Torino your
Yeah,
ass.
exactly. I got on my horse and I went after him, and I went in there and I didn't leave a single bandit alive.
Yeah,
Of course.
Because they,
Of course.
and they killed my wife. They killed her.
Man.
She was dead.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's-
it was that moment.
That's some episode 2 stuff.
Okay,
And I don't even like episode 2.
The
Not a troller, thanks. Hey, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
all right.
Pretty much every time I see a new chatter, I'm going to post this about our Rainbow Siege giveaway. So hang on.
Said he
to the
made
end of that.
some
And
fan
please,
art.
please follow us. If you made some fan art,
I feel like he's gonna be a troll.
it's
That
gonna be
is-
it's totally
yeah.
gonna be
Steam.
a penis.
It's totally gonna be.
It's
penis.
totally gonna be a penis. Okay, Jeremy Soul.
Do you want me to put your
Sure, why
Steam in
not?
there? Okay.
I will
Deleted
attempt
link.
Okay,
anything.
yeah. Sure.
Whoops.
Anyway.
Whoopsie.
So, all right, Jeremy Soul.
Yeah.
You know what I've noticed about Morrowind and Oblivion and Skyrim, and did he do the music for ESO? Oh, yeah,
I don't know actually.
well, regardless, he did the music for those
Yeah.
3 big fuck off games, and there's a lot of the bombast when you need it, and then there's like the kind of moderate level ambience, and then there's the really super quiet ambience. I mentioned this to you last week when we were talking about doing this topic. Jeremy did a piece with his brother Julian. I guess it's his brother. It's the Secret of Evermore soundtrack for the Super Nintendo. One of my favorite games, vastly overlooked, very quiet, but hey.
Actually, that was one of the top 20 on Forbes.
Was Secret of Evermore?
Yeah.
You got the same thing there. You've got the rumbling drums that you're used to during boss matches. There's a lot of natural sound going on. Like the music will just kind of take a step back and let environmental sounds just kind of fill in, and then occasionally you'll hear something.
Well, with you talking about having unintrusive game stuff, I would actually like to bring up one of the female artists, probably one of the first female artists in the industry that actually makes a point to make sure that listening to the music that she creates is not a pain, it's not cumbersome, and that's Yoko
Shimomura. Moko
yes.
Shimomura did
also
music.
goes by, is it P or Pi?
Is it
P-I-I.
Pie?
Sometimes it has a
Yeah.
music note.
It's-
Oh
there's
no! Okay, I probably have all of my stuff hidden because I am a notoriously paranoid human. I'm so sorry.
Well, also, being a female on the internet is scary as shit.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's more of I am ex-military intelligence, and I know what you can find on the internet, and I don't like people finding me.
I had one of my friends who was in the army who went through some recent sort of communications training, and I can't say everything that he told me because he told me in confidence. But the shit that they can do is as bad as you think it is.
Oh yeah.
I used to do quality assurance on people not sending things they weren't supposed to, and I can't tell you how many people's personal things that I've seen that I
It's
did not
27,
want to see. Don't send those things unless you want someone else
Right.
to see it, because as soon as
The
you
internet is
hit
forever.
send,
Yeah.
someone else has seen it.
Snapchat doesn't actually delete your shit, by the way. So let's
It's
talk
so
real
they
quick,
can keep up court cases.
as a parallel conversation.
Which,
Licensed music.
Oh.
Licensed music to be the soundtrack for your game. Are you for this, against this, just in general rule?
For it, totally. Just straight up.
I like for it because that helps get money back to the person who actually helped create it, but I also have some issue with it considering the fact that a lot of stuff, especially with being an American and a lot of stuff starting over in foreign countries, it makes it harder to access it. And if you're wanting to figure out if this is something that you want to try by at least listening to something, not necessarily licensed, hey, I pull it up on YouTube or I download something, listen to it, hey, this is awesome, I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy all this stuff and support the artist.
Yep.
Or, hey, this sucked, I'm just going to put this in the rubbish bin and delete it.
That's
One thing that the 360 did that I miss on Xbox One is every game on the 360, no matter what, you could play your own soundtrack to.
Yep.
You could plug in your MP3 player and it would keep the sound effects and the voicing of the game, unless the voicing was tied to was on the same track as the music, which happened a couple times where the voices now would be gone, but the sound effects would still be there. Anyway, but some of the worst licensed music is every Madden game I've ever played, and it's not that they don't pick good songs. It's that whatever algorithm they use to play those songs is shitty. Because every time I turned on like Madden 11 or maybe it's 13, it was Crazy Train, and now I like Ozzy in general. I fucking hate that song now.
So it's not really that you don't like the Madden music soundtrack thing. It's that you just don't like jock jams. That's what that is. It's like every jock jam has like the same 5 or 6 songs, and they'll continually play them over and over again because it's supposed to get you guys.
So your first mistake was turning on
the Madden. You know what? I like a little bit of my football.
That was the first mistake.
Real fun time. Are you guys Xbox greater than PS4? We're apolitical in terms of the console war. However,
Xbox.
Will owns an Xbox One. I own an Xbox One, and
he refuses
Chuck
to
has a
play with me.
360.
I have an Xbox 360 and a PlayStation 2 in addition to a Wii, but I am not very good at playing games because I'm like, oh, look at this thing over there.
I have always purchased, and I've recently gotten more into PC. My favorite part of playing games on PC is figuring out why it's not working. That's super fun for me.
Game guy, you're part of the PC mustard race.
The mustard
Get
race.
in on that because
I do like the PC
I actually
mustard
think
race.
that the PC versus console argument could make a really good topic.
So I made my
really depends on the PC because there are a lot of things that you can do with the PC, especially if you are someone who personally goes and puts together your own hardware.
Well, here's actually the thing.
So the symbols.
That comment that I made sarcastically a second ago, figuring out why my game's not working.
Yeah.
That's actually really what they love. And I went to when I was at PAX in January. I went to the NVIDIA panel, and they were giving away PC components and shit. And I realized that actually is the thing they love.
Yeah.
Not that their game's not working, but that they have created this thing, and that's the way they paint, is by creating their rig.
Right.
And all the little minute things, and pinpoint, okay, my sound is good, but I bet I could get a little bit more horsepower. I bet I can get the
It's figuring out where you
frequency
can
up or
tweak,
something, you know.
where you can tweak your sound card,
Yeah,
where
and
you
they
can tweak
love
your
that
RAM,
shit.
and where
Just
you can
love it.
plug in additional memory.
Well, see, I'm all for the PC master race, and I want them to continue to be doing what they're doing because now that Xbox One is allowing mods
on
the
Fallout
Xbox,
4, yeah, that's
on Fallout 4, but along with a lot of the backwards compatibility stuff they're allowing mods to be downloaded.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is really rad. So I want the PC Master Race to continue to be modding and making their things
Game
available
Guy
because
says
they make
that should be
amazing
next
mods.
week's topic. Is we should just go full political on the consoles next week.
To
We
be
should.
fair,
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
say
good.
bottom line as far as anything goes, I'm going to say I will probably end up picking a PC game over any other game because I have one computer. I can upgrade that or change that easily, and it can compat with a whole bunch of different games. Whereas with things such as wanting the Nintendo, wanting the
Nintendo still makes consoles?
Xbox, and things like that. Well, they've moved to mini consoles.
Mini console. Anyway, so licensed music is what we were talking about a second ago.
Yep.
And Chuck and I both have one of the things that brought us together as friends. We were working at Blockbuster, and a game came out on the Xbox and PS2 called Burnout 3.
Oh, sure.
Burnout 3 Takedown. And it was a racing game, and I'm like, to me, racing games are like fighting games. They're all the same,
Right.
to me.
Yeah, to me too. Yeah.
Except Burnout was this crazy arcade Wreck-'em, really fast-paced, and then on top of that, they had a licensed music soundtrack that stuck to a specific genre. It was punk. It was punk music. And so I got my Yellow Card in there, my Amber Pacific in there, Bouncing
Chemical
Souls, My
Romance.
Chemical Romance is how I found them, was Burnout 3. And it was a perfect soundtrack.
What's up, South Boss?
South Boss!
Hello! Oh, he's back.
Good to see you.
So-
and don't forget about our Rainbow Six Siege beta giveaway at the end.
That's right. Stick
Yeah.
around to the
So
end.
This is a perfect soundtrack.
Yeah.
In that every track had something to do with every other track, and it fit the genre,
And it fit the game.
and it fit the game. So, like, I'd be doing one of those, time trials where you're trying to get through traffic and everything.
Yellow
And
card.
you're, like, fucking it up, and
Yellow
then,
card.
And then Lights and Sounds comes on, and everything is
That's Burnout
perfect,
Revenge.
and it goes with the...
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
having,
Lights and Sounds.
Breathing was
let
in
the
Breathing
bodies
After.
hit the floor, and then you're like, "Rawr!"
Drowning pool,
What actually happened was we were so collectively impressed by the soundtrack to Burnout 3 that at one point I went to the demo, the PS2 demo. I plugged the Burnout 3 sound
At
game
Blockbuster.
in at Blockbuster, and we just let the main menu
turned on the
play
sound.
all the music. We just listened to it the
Nice.
whole day.
I went through my
That's not bad. Actually, I have a bad habit of going to different CDs and stuff and being like, "Oh, I like this game. I really like the music for this game. Okay, let's go look in the computer files and figure out where the music at." And I just
Oh,
look at the music.
Actually, Sauce Boss mentions a Fantastic Four movie, just as a non sequitur here. I'm gonna go see that tomorrow night, and if any of you guys want to join me,
He's naked.
it's supposed to be really shitty,
He's
but it's
naked.
$5 rave flicks on Tuesday night. So I'm gonna go, and then next week I'm going to spend a little time dissecting that film.
A Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
I'll go with you.
Okay, cool.
Because actually, we were talking about it today, me and Uriel. We were talking about it on the phone, and he says, "You know what? I think it's just that no one likes it." And I said, "I think you're right, man."
Here's the thing that happened to me with Pixels, and I'm not going to bother talking about that film because it's not worth talking about.
Yeah.
But I may have mentioned this to you guys already, is that it has some very serious problems. There are issues in the film, but it like even among Adam Sandler movies, it's better than average.
Right.
Like people hated on it so hard that I thought I was going to go in there and leave the theater with hepatitis.
Yeah.
And when I didn't, I was like, oh, okay, so that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
Because the theater manager didn't personally spit in my face as I exited. I thought, that was fine. That was fine. It wasn't great.
That'd be the perfect way to end Fantastic Four. Is if the theater manager just spat on you as you walked out.
Did you
like,
enjoy your movie? No,
Like an
not really.
angry French waiter.
Game Master's Burnout Paradise has a real music. Yeah, actually, a lot of games utilize one of the first ones to really use licensed music.
Tony Hawk.
Oh,
Tony
Tony
Hawk.
Hawk. That's actually on my list to talk about.
Yeah.
Is how great that soundtrack was.
But it is because
Fantastic.
of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater that I fell in love with Dead Kennedys.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I found
it was-
Goldfinger through them.
Yeah.
See, I discovered CKY.
99 quite bitter beings, right? Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3? Holy shit, that was a soundtrack for the ages too, man.
Dude,
because
yeah.
that one had a nice music of like a mix of like punk and then like hip hop,
Yeah.
and it just got more like punky and hip hoppy when it started going through the rest of the games. Like I found a whole bunch of decent hip hop artists because of the Tony Hawk series.
Yeah, dude. There was so much in there. I'll never forget flying down that ramp. You're in the hangar, remember?
Yeah.
Flying down that ramp, hitting that
Crash
first
through the
hit
window.
to
Lights out, Gorilla Radio.
you know,
Yeah.
that shit up, and you're doing the half pipe.
Did
That's so
Jet Grind
fantastic.
Radio have licensed music in it? Was that what was that soundtrack?
I think...
Or Jet Set Radio Future? Shit, blind spot for the podcast.
Oh,
If
no.
anyone knows anything-
Wait, what?
FIFA King 2345 comes in, and
I
feel like I
trolls a
know
bit.
this person.
I have personal reservations with a lot of the FIFA stuff for other reasons that are more real world versus game.
the inclusion of female teams.
No. It's the issues with humanity, abuse of humans in foreign countries.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Yeah, that's a real reason to have a problem with FIFA.
Legitimate issue.
Also, they're corrupt out the ass.
Yeah. Oh, bad choice of... Perfect choice of words.
Okay, we're
Oh
at
my
this
God.
place
Yeah.
in our podcast. I'm going to take a moment. We're at this place, and I've mentioned this before, is that when someone comes into our chat, regardless of what they're talking about, I like to let them know that they're special, and
We
I appreciate-
recognize them.
and we recognize them
Snowflakes.
because we're small, and we're a little indie group, and so we want to take a moment to appreciate you. And even the trolls. Now, I will get rid of people that are being outright abusive immediately.
Yeah,
I will
for
ban
sure.
someone who's being abusive.
For
Don't
sure.
be a dick.
And who's being a dick. Now, FIFA King...
Can I read this?
Go for it. Well, you can...
FIFA King says, I just bought a new coffee machine for my house. His next line, I love making coffee. And then his next line, but you know what I love more than making coffee? His answer, eating ass.
Now, my big question is are we talking about more of a personal thing with your partners, or are we talking more about something where you actually like to eat donkeys because they are delicious meat?
Oh, burro meat. Es carne de burro.
A burro meat.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would eat that kind of ass. The other thing requires a long-term relationship.
Oh.
Coffee ass
there should
eaters.
be a team called Coffee Ass. Yeah, Coffee Ass Eaters may be the Angry Cuddles Guild when we get going.
Coffee ass eaters.
sauce.
Dude.
I was actually
That's
going
fantastic.
I was about to say our draft day is Sunday.
I would
Fantasy
support
draft
this.
day is for
Or that's a
us
week
is,
from Sunday.
is a week from Sunday, and I think you may have just given me the name for my team. So thank
All
you very much
ass
for that.
FIFA King.
Thank you,
Because of-
FIFA King, for that.
So back to soundtrack.
So back to soundtrack.
One of my favorite composers actually is an Academy Award-winning composer who did not get his Academy Award for a video game. He got his Academy Award for Shrek. But
no,
so you are actually going to be able to talk about him. I gave him
You're
some
talking about
additional
Harry
notes.
Gregson Williams.
Harry Gregson Williams,
Yeah.
who did the music for the Metal Gear games,
Yes,
specifically Metal Gear Solid 2. And when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out, the intro, the theme, had this sort of digital, sort of espionage, and it hit all of the themes of Metal Gear.
Yeah.
But it was so exciting that I was, by the intro where it's like press start, by the time you get to the press start screen, I was bouncing in my fucking chair.
Yeah,
Like I
ready
wanted
to
to
play.
dance around. And what ended up happening was I bought this game. I was in college. My girlfriend, my freshman year in college, and my girlfriend was still in high school. So I told her I'd pick her up from school, and I think you might know where this is going. I went and purchased Metal Gear Solid 2.
FIFA
Oh, this
King,
is a bad
FIFA
plan.
King, we don't hate, we hug.
No, talking about how much you love eating ass is not an abuse of the chat.
Shit, we talk about
You
eating
go
ass.
for it.
You know,
Yeah. So anyway, we go buy this game and I take it home and we start playing it and the music and everything is so wonderful and that we're so psyched. My phone rings in my room, in my dorm room, and I pick it up. And my girlfriend goes, "Steven," and I immediately slam it down because I realize I'm 45 minutes late picking her up from school because we've been playing Metal Gear Solid 2. So I don't even respond to her. I just slam the phone down.
And then the theme is playing as you're running to your car.
To be fair, you only had enough time. You didn't actually get the full 3 names on how angry someone is. Because that was always, as a child, you could tell how angry your parent was.
Oh, yeah.
The
How
length
much of your name was said.
we called it power word middle name.
Hello.
Brony Beast, thanks for joining
Brony Beast.
the podcast, and thanks for joining our chat. Thank you. If you guys haven't yet, follow us. Click down at the bottom.
Be sure to stick around for the end. We are doing a
We did
giveaway.
it. We got to 50. We're at 51. FIFA King, rule for the time. Not a troller. Thanks for following us. I'm actually not showing the black side now. This is the beta code we'll be giving away in 10 minutes.
10
so
minutes.
hang out.
10 minutes.
Oh, yes.
If you guys want to play Rainbow Siege. And I'm going to tell you right now how this is going to work. I'm going to give you the website in the chat that you're going to have to go to. And I want you to pull it up, and I'll go ahead and give you that website now. Chuck, hold this in front of my face. I'll pull it back. Son of a bitch. You're going to want to pull this up and keep it. And if you're listening to our podcast, just hang tight.
And I'm so sorry for laughing so loud, but that was...
No, I'm actually not done with my story yet. But go to rainbow6.com/beta. Pull that up right now. Get ready, because I'm going to post the beta access code in the chat at 10 o'clock Central, which is in about 10 and a half minutes. At 10 o'clock Central U.S. time, I'm going to put the beta access code there for you guys to go nuts over. Then the first one will get it.
Does it work? Oh, you're pretty much going with the whoever hits F5
Hits it
first.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
that's the way we'll do it this time. And if we need to change it for future giveaways, we will. Okay, so my girlfriend calls. I pick it up. She says, "Steven," I slam it down.
Right.
My friend Mark is playing the game with me, and so he's like, "Throw me your keys." So I throw him the keys, and he runs down to get the car started while I'm putting on my shoes and shit. So he gets the car started. I run down the stairs, and yes, the theme song of Metal Gear Solid 2 is playing in my head. So we get in the car. He pulls up, picks me up. We jet down the street a few blocks away to the school to pick her up. And we had already been having this sort of fight over the amount of video games I was playing.
Yeah.
So it was already a sticking point. So we get into the car. She gets in the back seat. I'm sitting in the back with her, and my friend Mark is driving us. And she's really quiet, and she's sitting there.
Oh, that's
And-
the worst.
She turns to me and she goes, I have one question. Were you playing video games? And I was like, fuck. Because if the answer is legitimately no, then she might be able to understand that sometimes people are late. But if I was a negligent boyfriend, that's a problem.
Right. You know what you should have said right then and there?
What's that?
You should have been like, watch, ask me.
Were you playing video games?
Of course I was, bitch. Doot! And then, yes! Explosion, then her seat explodes.
As soon as I saw you go, boop, I was like,
Yeah. Absolutely.
This is
This is where it helps to have a partner who understands
Yeah.
your hobbies, right?
this hobby/problem.
So, no, actually, and in college, it actually was. I played a shitload of video games in college. Like, I play video games now, but I also do other stuff. In college, it was a bit of a problem. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and she goes, "Were you playing video games?" And I thought, "Fuck." And my friend Mark goes, "We were not playing video games." And I thought, "Oh, that's awesome. I don't have to lie to my girlfriend." And then he goes, "We were experiencing Metal Gear Solid 2."
God
Oh,
damn
nice.
it.
Game guy says, should have just said, no, I was making coffee.
Making coffee, eating donkeys.
Yeah.
Oh,
That is fantastic.
that's we call that a callback in the industry.
Well, no, on the Metal Gear front, I know exactly what you mean. The soundtrack sets the mood for the entire game.
Yeah.
And it was after Snake Eater came out.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
that Bond,
Snake Eater.
that Bond
Dude,
song.
it was
Burn, burn, burn,
who did
burn.
Snake Eater? It was Norihiko Hibini. Yeah, did Snake Eater. And yeah, what a thrill.
Okay, so true story. Used to work at a McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
And I found the PA system that played the satellite music, and it had it was just like a headphone jack.
Oh wow.
So all I did was just took out the headphone jack,
course.
put it into my iPod,
Yeah.
and I had a playlist for work. It was family friendly, and
okay.
I had like a bunch of like video game music on there too, and like people would come with like, "Is that Metal Gear Solid?" Yes, it is.
So
You're the one that did this.
I don't want to get too sidetracked because we are going to focus on soundtrack because
Yeah.
we are running out of time. But I do want to know because I guess for Chuck because Chuck's not a big coffee person, right?
Right.
So Chuck is FIFA King asks team coffee or team ass. I'm team coffee. I love me some coffee. My Keurig machine is my best friend.
Yeah.
I'm
Technically, isn't this a conundrum? Because if you have coffee, that causes the arse to...
it's a diuretic.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna hashtag team ass coffee.
Team ass coffee for Will.
Like if FIFA.
And
I'm
can you
gonna
choose-
second
can you choose
on
a
that.
song?
Yeah,
Okay.
team ass coffee. Yeah.
So team ass coffee for
I found the
Shark
table.
as well. Okay, yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah, so Snake Eater, yeah, that intro just blew me away. And
it's
ever
one of
since-
those where you like at first you're like, is this really happening?
Mhm.
And then once you get it, you're like on board.
It had that entire like Cold War feel to it, like spy,
Yeah,
on
which it was
spy,
supposed to.
like, yeah, and it captured it perfectly.
Mhm.
And then now Phantom Pain's coming out, and I'm so glad that they kind of went back to that, and they did. Donna Burke did the Sins of Our Father. Have you heard it was with the E3 trailer for Phantom Pain?
Oh yes, yeah.
And the
I've
song is
not
just
heard of that,
as-
but that is an epic title.
Yeah, the Sins of the Father, and the song is just as epic as Snake Eater,
Well,
if
the
not more.
they use Joan. Oh, please help me. Right around Dylan, hung out with Bob Dylan a lot. A female singer, one of the great hippie female singers of.
Joan Jett.
No,
No.
not Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. It was
Joan
I-
Jett.
no, maybe
Earlier.
it's not Joan.
Baez, maybe?
Yes, it's Baez. Yes, Joan Baez. They
was
used
waiting.
one of her songs for Ground Zeroes for Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes as the cinematics taking place and driving into the base, and it's still Cold War era. Yeah, still Cold War era.
It's really easy to base a lot of the, especially with a lot of the spy missions and personally having to go in there and work on the Cold War era because that's whenever we still had a lot of technology that was entirely too low and that allowed us to actually physically go in
to
like
places.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't have drones back then.
Well, it's not just drones. We didn't have nearly the sophisticated security systems or the knowledge of how to teach our personnel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
But that's all I can really say. That's unclassified.
to kind of wrap up the kind of subject or whatever. I think in games music has I think taken games to the next level, and it always has. You know, I mean, we were playing last night at karaoke. We were playing those like 8-bit, 16-bit songs,
Yep.
versions of nowadays songs like My Chemical Romance,
I would say
and
that
people get more into it.
I would say that
Right?
we've graduated from the catchy jingles that we originally created back in the day with Mario Brothers,
Oh, yeah.
being Koji Kondo, and him making that. And we've moved on to something even more, almost, we've gone from simply the 8-bit small tones to something that we're literally asking the Philharmonic Orchestra,
Yeah.
hey, can you do a thing for us,
Right.
And
please?
the wonderful thing about it is all of those 8-bit tones, people are still taking and building up. Go to that webpage that I opened up.
Absolutely.
I would
you
say
guys
that
can,
I still enjoy the 8-bit tones because it's something small, it's
Of
something
course,
catchy,
definitely.
it doesn't take up a lot of memory, and it's still personal. But
Yeah.
I think that there's something to be said for in an industry where we have pop and we have a lot of cornflakes filler starch for
Yeah.
music.
Yep.
To have something that has depth, to have something that has culture and emotion into it.
And
Because orchestra music has emotion and depth because
sure.
these are people that are passionate about their instruments.
which isn't to say that the 8-bit stuff doesn't have its own passion and merit in and of
the
itself.
first time that I remember seeing a music credit, and I thought we might get through this whole podcast without saying his name, but the first time I saw a music credit was Tommy Tallarico Studios, and it was for Maximum Carnage on the Sega Genesis,
Okay.
the Spider-Man game. And I know that he's had his hand sort of behind the scenes in a lot of music production in the video game industry from forever up till now. I also want to recommend that you guys go find Video Games Live. It's on like DVD and Blu-ray and stuff like that. I'm sure it's available for steel or digital, but it's the orchestral. They take game compositions and they do them orchestrally. Also, One Winged Angel, when I go to the gym, is like the shit.
Yeah, that's too
He-
much for
he-
me.
Yeah.
Nobu has actually expressed that is one of his favorite works.
Yeah.
And the London Philharmonic Orchestra did fantastic work on that. I actually have a compilation of multiple video games that... Yes, I have both of them. And it lets me sample a lot of video games I may not necessarily play because they're not of my interest, but I can still enjoy that music.
Rocket Animal, thanks for joining the podcast. Needing some help on which next-gen console I should get. That's actually something that we are going to talk about next week. That's going to be our topic next week is
Absolutely.
console wars.
Yeah.
And we'll go into that. But just as a real quick, since you asked and you're here, it depends on the exclusives. The actual function of the consoles is more or less the same. If you have friends that play on one console versus another, then I'd go that route. So I have most of my friends play on Xbox.
I would also say
and
what
Xbox
other
Live,
games
so-
are available on that, because if
Yeah.
I have a particular series that I'm fond
Yes,
of
exactly.
and it's not on that, I'm less likely to pick it up.
Is graphics your best? Is that your thing? Then honestly, you should probably go to a PS4 because it has a higher horsepower than the Xbox One. But the Xbox One has things like Halo. It has Crackdown coming out. The Dead Rising series is exclusive to it. It's phenomenal. The Tomb Raider is a timed exclusivity for it.
I've seen some of the newer Tomb Raider stuff, and I'm like, ooh, that's really pretty and gory in the most fantastic way.
Chuck, give us a quick rundown.
All right.
And then we are going to post the code in the chat for the Rainbow Six Siege beta. So get ready for that. Get your browsers to go to rainbow6.com/beta.
So press
Chuck.
F5.
All right, so this is Overclocked Remix, ocremix.org. This website has been around for at least a decade, and they've got literally thousands of tracks. These are almost all amateur artists, because a lot of the artists that you see posting like their own remixes and reimaginings of video game music all throughout the genre, all throughout the medium. Some of them have been picked up to do professional stuff. When they
Lindsay Sterling is one person who has started as a fan, is actually touring worldwide now because of her work on the violin.
Because she does the Legend of Zelda theme. Everybody knows the Legend of Zelda theme. When they re-released Street Fighter 2 for Xbox Live Arcade, they got nobody else but OC remix artists to do the music for that game. Mm-hmm. And a couple of times, like back when I first started doing doing my stream, I always started the stream with a particular song. It's a rework from Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. That's where I found it from, and I've been using it for years. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And almost everything they do is good. Now, like I said, they do amateurs, so they've got they have a board of people that sit there and listen and critique all these pieces. So if it makes the website, it's going to be at least, technically good, and then it's just up to you to decide whether or not you like it.
Control copy and do a countdown. Too late.
Oh.
You could have made it so more suspenseful. The wiggle in the scene, you're like, oh my god, I'm waiting.
If you actually want to plug, a buddy of mine, their band, they do video game covers in their own like bluesy style, and they're called Vinyl Boss. You can check them out at soundcloud.com/vinylboss, and they do this awesome Song of Storms, all like bluesy. They're like,
I've heard a dubstep Song of Storms. That shit rocks my socks off.
Looks like Game Guy, who I fully expected to win this because he's been a solid chatter.
Yeah.
So good job. And FIFA King,
you need to get your priorities.
No. I like that we're the background to the ass eating.
Yes, I love that. I absolutely
fantastic
love that. FIFA King, you're the man.
Fantastic work, FIFA King. What else here?
If that ends up on its own video stream, please just let us know so that we can curiously peruse what we're referenced on.
For research purposes, for science.
One of my friends that is online who's much more successful than I am, and I say friend a little loosely. I don't know that he'd recognize me, but I've done some work with him and for him. His name is Brent Black. He goes by Brental Floss online, and he does what if blank had lyrics. So like, what if the Super Mario Brothers theme had lyrics? Nice. And he does a version of the song where he puts lyrics to whatever. What if Mega Man had lyrics? All of them. My favorite one is What If Final Fantasy Had Lyrics. That's a fantastic song. He does a lot of YouTube stuff. He's a very successful YouTuber. Go check out Brental Floss. I videoed. He wrote a musical when he was attending Oklahoma University,
which I have a soundtrack to.
O-Usicle the Musical, and I videoed it and for him, and it was about the fact that they had a dry campus policy where no one could drink on campus, but the dry campus policy was no water on campus because one of the frat guys got water poisoning. This is part of the plot of the play. Because they couldn't drink, so they did water for hazing, and one of the frat guys died from water poisoning, so they banned water on campus.
It's
and it
actually
South
really
Parky kind
easy
of thing
to
to
do.
It. Yeah.
There is a number of people that die during basic military training with water poisoning.
Oh, you heard this story too, huh?
It probably happened whenever I was there or whenever I was instructing.
Well, it was Lackland.
So I guess we're going to wind down now. If anything else, any just composers or soundtracks that really hit you that you want to make sure you've gotten out there. Mass Effect soundtrack
Jack Wall,
is really
my friends.
solid.
Not only Jack Wall, but Mass Effect 3, they picked up Clint Mansell, did music for Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, the Wrestler. That's him doing all the piano stuff in that one.
If I've gotten his name right, Steve Burton, I think is the name of the guy who did the Titanfall soundtrack for Xbox One and PC. And Titanfall, I love that game, by the way, but I put it on when I'm doing anything, and it sort of has the effect that Metal Gear Solid does, of no matter what I'm doing, now I feel like I'm in a movie, and it's really important. Like, I'm filling out my banking information, but now I have to do it in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You're invigorated. You have to do it before you've been seen.
Actually, Mike, who used to be on the podcast, he and I went to go pick up my brother once from college. I had a lot of picking up people from school stories. And while we were sitting in the car, we were listening to the Metal Gear Solid 2 soundtrack, and it was one of the sneaking mission. Dun, dun, dun,
Oh no,
dun, dun.
I've
And
had
we were sitting there, and we sort of fell into the role of like we were going to whack him or something, you know.
Oh, for sure.
That's why sometimes I can't always listen to that music because I like to not get speeding tickets.
Right.
Katamari
I
Damacy
did that.
soundtrack.
I did that.
Fucking
Katamari
Katamari
Damacy,
Damacy
that's
soundtrack.
a good name out there too.
Yes.
Yes. But when my Burnout 3 Takedown soundtrack would come on in my car, because I went and found each of those tracks independently and compiled them into my own soundtrack, I would notice that I would drive 10 miles per hour faster with that.
Yes, I do think that sometimes there should be a reasonable thing where you can say, look, can you not hear what I have on the system? Give us a little forgiveness, a little wiggle room on this. My Steam account should be corrected to be slightly more public. If it's not, then I will attempt to do something with it on the computer whenever I get home.
It was
KRSCHARK at
on Steam. Okay, so here's what you need to do. If you haven't followed us already, please follow us. We really appreciate it.
Again, if we get 100 people, remember, both myself and Steve-O have agreed to wear a dress.
That's right.
It's true.
We're going to wear dresses at 100. So share us with someone. That's really the best thing you can do, and we really appreciate it. If you're listening to us on the podcast, what?
Are you and I going to have to do our a round 2 sing off of Sweet Transvestite?
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be
And
fun.
we can share
That'd be
video.
really good.
Cool.
Can we be
I
in
would-
tuxedos while we do it?
No, we got to be in
No.
corsets and shit.
You either have to be in corsets or boy shorts.
I'll do both.
I've already been
I'll
there
totally
and
do
done
both.
Technically, both is really cute.
Our webcomic is at angrycuddles.com. We're Angry Cuddles on Twitter. It's Angry Cuddles on Facebook. It's Angry Cuddles on YouTube. All of our social media, if you're watching, is up over there in that corner. Follow us and share us, please. We really appreciate it. And like Shirk says, 100 followers, and we'll be dressing, literally. You can get the podcast on iTunes, Rock and Animal. The podcast is available on Wednesdays on iTunes and also Xbox Music, or I guess they call it Groove now, or whatever.
Or something.
What the fuck
However,
ever.
if
Zune.
you-
It's still Zuned in
Yes.
me.
If
Dude,
you
I had a
tune
Zune
in
and I
for
loved
the
it.
live show,
They're
you
my
can
car.
actually win extra things such as what we just gave away, the beta
Yeah.
code, as well as some other things that might come in the future.
Yep. Things like comic prints and shirts and...
Yeah, in the next
stuff
couple of
like
weeks
that.
we'll be having new shirts.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could
Whoa,
actually
whoa.
potentially even work in some
Yeah.
co-op gameplay
Really?
too, provided that we have a cross-platform with you.
So, go do all that sort of stuff, and please follow us in our social media, and that way you can keep up to date with what we do. And yeah, our podcast is audio version on Wednesdays on iTunes and on our website and on Xbox. The Will is available at
Will Rock Music
that's right.
on Twitter.
And you guys have a release date for your EP now.
Yeah, we
Holy
do.
shit! Moonlight Native. is-
Moonlight Native, yep, September 12th. That's going to be available on iTunes, Spotify, all that shit.
So. Rockin' Animal, the last time that I wore something that was nude, I actually matched the couch. So,
Your guest appearance was
yes, my
pants
my
were
initial
identical.
appearance, my pants matched the couch. So, unfortunately, as much as possible, I'm going to avoid wearing
It was like a
nude
green
colors.
screen where you just see like the top half of a
Yeah.
person.
Yes, nude is actually about 3 shades darker than my natural pale complexion.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. For me, is when I see like nude colored stuff, I'm like, this is not what nude looks like. To me.
No. So I will probably avoid nude.
Next week we should have some short clips of us three singing at karaoke.
Oh Jesus! Okay,
Because I really want to get that on.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I have to. I'm gonna just go then right to my the song that I think I can sing
Unfortunately-
almost perfectly, which is Johnny Be Good, which I don't. sing.
Unfortunately,
There you go.
FIFA King, I do believe that an ass-eating fest on 100 followers
Seems low.
is a little bit low, but also
with how much FIFA King enjoys eating ass, that's probably a little high for him.
yes.
I don't want to wait that long.
I would say that would probably break our Twitch agreement. So unfortunately,
Yeah.
we must decline that.
Well, we can get like a burro burrito or something, and we can eat that.
And we can eat that.
I know an Asian mart where I can buy goat. I don't think they
That's
sell
pretty
donkey.
close. We'll
They
kill a
suck,
donkey and
They
yeah.
do goat?
Rock an animal. Yeah, I'm
They-
not
they-
ginger, but
they-
I'm super
They
like
they
I look like a
sell
pig
goat
hoof.
in the little freezer section. Yeah.
So anyway,
So there it is.
Shark's webcomic is hedgiehates.com, and that's in the chat. Hedgie, spelled like hedgehog, Hedgie hates.com. It is the hedgehog that hates everything. Is it everything?
Yes, she hates everything.
Everything.
Does she like anything?
Well,
Every day.
on April Fool's, which is our anniversary, we hit our first year. We usually, for that first week, we'll do things that Hedgie loves, but typically they are terrible, awful things.
Awesome.
I'm sure one of the next things is going to be pushing grandmothers down the stairs.
Put it on
The
Red
tube.
Pornhub.
That's what I go to after Twitch.
Oh,
Oh.
goodness.
Yeah, let's see. It's Rick Streaming. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're on episode 212, but episode 200 was our Twitch stream premiere.
Yeah.
So we have 199 audio-only episodes that you can go to iTunes and check out our old stuff. And we're on our 12th. We're in phase 3. This is our third cast for the podcast, and
Third and
our
final.
12th and final.
Third
Will
and
says
final.
because he'll murder anyone else that comes in.
If
someone
one
else
last
comes in this
person
room,
enters or leaves this show,
I
the
will-
entire thing quits.
I will
I
fucking
can help
kill
you
it.
hide the body.
We can sing it to the Frozen
She
tune.
says in a sing-song voice. And
Wow.
the artist from Angry Cuddles, Joseph, who I work with on the webcomic, wants to join us on the podcast sometime in the next month, so we may work out a way to get him here and talk webcomic-y stuff with you guys as well. Again, follow us on social media. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll begin the sign-offs now. My name is Steven,
I'm Chuck.
I'm Will.
I'm Shark.
and we'll see you guys next time for Console Wars 213.
Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
I feel like we should be like, we should try to